Mark and Michelle with the Plant Medicine Path. We have a man that's really touched my life in a lot of ways.
Are you tearing up there?
I started my journey with this man, and he's been gone for a little while, and we decided to bring him back. He came back and let him share his story. What do you want to say, Michelle?
Well, we're going to introduce you and bring you in, but I just wanted to, I met you just about 3 years ago, the first time that I went to Soul Quest, and you had already met the father of my children and
your whole family.
The whole family was, and you said things over the years that were stuck with me and were profound to me, and I want to share one of them. I remember you used to say on the calls all the time, you would say, if something, people come here all the time and they go home and they want to change their life and they want to move to Florida and they want to get in the medicine world and they want to, maybe divorce their spouse. And if something is right today, it's going to be right in 6 months. And if it's right in 6 months, it's going to be right in a year.
If it's true today, it's true tomorrow, it'll be true next week, it'll be true next month, true next year. Yeah.
Exactly. And that stuck with me. And, my story is that my life has changed completely. It was 3 years, but.
So we're ready to hear where you've been, my friend. We all miss you.
We miss you.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Well, hey, is it okay, like maybe before we get started here with all this conversation, maybe just take a moment just like to do an opening prayer, just all of us in this community, just closing our eyes for a moment and turning within for prayer. Is that cool?
Yep.
Okay, so all right, so together, let's take a long, slow, deep breath in and just release. And so let's make it our soul's intention to turn within right now as one body of light in unity, and let us begin to just connect and commune with our sacred indwelling presence, our divine nature. And so you who created us, and you who sustain us, and you who call upon us to live in peace in this world, we call upon you, the great indwelling spirit within us right now, to bless this gathering of people here today. We know that there are no circumstances, no person, no actions that can block us from your infinite love that dwells within and moves throughout each and every one of us here today. And so it's with the greatest gratitude and reverence for all that you have given to us that we give you praise and thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Can we do one thing, Dr. Scott? Why don't we give you a second? Why don't you log back off, log back in? You're a little statically. Just take it real quick, log back on, log back in. We'll hold the line right here for you. We'll talk for a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yep, a little staticky. So Dr. Scott is in Ecuador.
Yeah, he's in Ecuador.
He's in the rainforest.
Yep. So we'll be getting him right back on. But you know what? For the community here we've been building, we have a lot of cool things coming up.
Okay, here we go. Here
he is. He's back.
All right. So just be patient with us. We're going to figure this out. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey, what do you expect here in the Amazon?
I know, right?
So much better. I appreciate that.
Yep.
We heard your beautiful prayer.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I always think it's important for us to, to just remember the reason for the season, the spiritual center that, that we're all connected through. So,
right, definitely. Well, we got a lot of people on board this morning.
We want to hear.
We're ready to hear.
We're going to turn it over to you.
You've been, Scott.
So, you had asked me to maybe just explain a little bit about my background. Maybe some of my education, that sort of thing. Is that kind of what you're wanting to hear first, or where do you want to go?
We definitely do. You're getting a little staticky again.
Okay, so
I can hear that.
You're good.
Are we good? Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, a lot of folks know who I am and know about my background, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But I have a pretty unique background, and I would say that it's somewhere between the intersections of transpersonal psychology and, mixed with functional medicine and the Amazonian plant medicines. And so I'm an integration, psychedelic integration psychologist and a practitioner of functional medicine and complementary and alternative medicine and an expert in nicotine dependence education and treatment. And so, for those that aren't really familiar with what this whole transpersonal psychology thing, are you guys able to hear me okay?
You know what? You're breaking up again. I think we should try. Oh, here, where are we muted? Can you hear us? I think that we should try again, maybe to hang up and try one more time.
Okay.
Take your mic.
My mic?
Somebody says try taking your mic off.
Yeah, there you go.
My mic isn't on. This is just an earpiece. My mic is here.
That sounds great right
sounds
there.
better.
That sounds awesome. There you go.
Okay. No problem. So yeah, just stop me if we need to, reboot or something.
You gotcha.
So,
Your sound perfect right now. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, we call,
so go ahead.
we call it bob and weave, We gotta be able to bob and weave.
Yeah, it seems like when you bob around it.
Yeah, it moves out. So so this the background for me is really in transpersonal psychology. And that's that's that the spiritual psychology, it's considered probably a subfield of the school of psychology, and it's this it's that part that integrates spirituality with the school of psychology, and the transcendent aspects of our human experience is included in that. We're talking about in the modern framework of psychology, talking about phenomenon, talking about spiritual experiences, aspects that are pretty much just beyond the normal, ordinary human experience, mystical and all that kind of stuff, and many of us have had those experiences, working with plant medicine.
So Scott, I hate to interrupt you. I think that you're cutting in and out. Yeah, we should do it again. I think maybe we should try to log out and log in one more time.
Sure. Okay. Be right back.
Perfect.
Take the earpiece off too.
Yeah, maybe take his earpiece off.
It's just ear. I mean, I can't hear without it.
Oh, I thought it was like a Bluetooth.
Here we go.
All right. So he'll be back on, you guys. I promise we're going to get this. He is in the rainforest, and he said they had flooding yesterday or some kind of issue.
You get it rolling. We'll get it good. There you go.
All right. So you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. It's like it's one of those things. Maybe the universe is saying we got to listen in a lot more closely, or if you really want to hear it, stick with it. Okay. So
yes,
we're sticking with it.
Yeah. So I think that most of you guys know about my background, and so I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. So you still hearing me okay?
Yep. A little bit static, even if it's
okay. So basically my work was with the School of Medicine at the University of Miami for many years, and in the division of integrative and complementary medicine and functional medicine is one of my areas. And so I had worked in the medical wellness center and spent a lot of time really honing my skills in the area of complementary and integrative medicine. I am kind of like trying to streamline this a little bit, because my history is kind of long, and so I don't want to bore anybody with it. But I've worked with lots of patients over the years, and before moving to Ecuador, as most of you know, I was one of the 3 leaders in the Orlando, Florida church. We actually built what I think is probably one of the world's largest I don't know quite what the number is yet, but I think think it's like over 20,000.
It's audio static. Hey, Scott, can I stop you for just a second? So, can he hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Why don't you do this?
Your video is perfect.
Perfect.
It's not the internet connection. It's somehow your microphone.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
your microphone.
So that's interesting.
Oh, see, now that's better. When you're close like that, it seems better.
Okay, well, maybe it's
better.
maybe it's okay. Maybe it's my hand in front of a mic or something. I have no idea. So, okay. So continue.
That seems
you're really
better.
good right there, though.
Yeah, you're perfect right there.
Okay, I'm not gonna move.
We're gonna get this.
Yeah. So
you need to be close. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'll stay close.
Perfect.
I'll stay close. Yeah. And so,
We're getting a lot of comments.
I was the senior minister at SoulQuest and staff psychologist and ayahuasca facilitator, and for a brief period of time served on the board of directors. And I've heard just a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation, over this past year of what may have happened and why I left SoulQuest. And there seems to be like this dark funky cloud over why I left, and like a mystery. And so many people have asked, and very few people really know what really went down. And so there's a lot of speculations, and I heard that a lot of people were really hurt by my sudden departure.
Okay, hang on just a second. I'm so sorry. It is very staticky. I'm sorry. I hate doing this.
Yes.
It seems to be staticky though, and we want to hear this.
Yeah.
So why don't you log back on, log back in, and just get really close to that.
And get really close.
Okay.
Now,
I mean,
right
you
now,
sound really good when you're like that. So
okay.
Let's see.
Perfect.
Well,
yeah.
Can you guys give us some feedback out there? Can you hear him? Restart the whole computer, somebody says.
We'll be here for you, my friend.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Okay. So there should be like a mic setting.
Plug your mic and plug it back in.
My mic is the mic on the on my laptop. So I do this. I do Zoom calls, all the time. Yeah. And so let me see where this mic is. So
we're only 10 minutes in. We'll figure this out. We're good.
Totally fine.
Mic access.
When he gets close, I can hear Eddie says.
Why don't you just log back on and log back in?
Okay, I'll log back in. The mic is built. The mic is built into my laptop, so I'm not really sure. I know on Zoom where the little button is, so I don't know if
could you do it on your phone? Maybe can you get to us on your phone?
Yeah, why not?
Try that.
Yep. So
we'll get it. We're gonna figure this out. Syllables have been kind of out in 1% of the time. We'll get this figured out, you guys.
Give us 1 minute.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we can get him online there. We've been doing a lot of good things at Plant Medicine.
Yeah, we can talk about.
So with this, I can use my earbud, my earpiece. So let me get that for just a second, okay?
Okay. So phone will probably work better.
No worries. We'll get you shut down for a minute, and we'll get you right back in, okay?
Yep. Just shut them off. Now the dog's barking.
Yep, you get to hear me and Michelle for a little while. Well, we'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing at the Plant Medicine Path. I mean, we just launched the website.
It went, which means it went live, so it's interactive.
You can book coaches now, retreats. We're going to be putting a whole bunch of workshops up. So it's really starting to really blossom because of our community. We really appreciate you. Thank you all very much.
Here he comes.
It's asking me for Safari. And
okay.
Where those
you just want to log back on and log back in real quick.
He just did that, I think. The audio wasn't that bad with the laptop.
Okay, so restream. join the stream. Okay, it takes me to the screen here.
We can hear you great right this minute. Crystal clear.
So 1 second.
We love you, Dr. Scott. We know you'll get this. Hey, Mr.
And
Huxtable, how you been, brother?
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well.
Are you
very clear right now?
I'm clear right now. Okay, so yeah, so maybe that's I'm not sure how to get. It says to get into Safari, and I don't really use Safari.
Hey,
so.
it's just how the universe is working right now. But it's great right now, so keep it going.
Yeah. Hey, so if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Okay, yeah, let's move on. So if this is working,
don't fix it.
Yeah, so you know the story is the story that I was going to go into was just really about these questions and about why I left, and people just feeling kind of hurt that I left, and I heard that some people felt kind of abandoned because here I was the minister of the church, and so I know that there were a lot of lives that we were all connecting with, and so it was sudden, and so sorry for all the confusion and speculation, and I'm sorry that anybody may have felt slighted or hurt. So at the time we were going through, and we actually I guess the church still is going through federal and civil litigations. There was stuff going on, and so it was just at that time I think it was really in my best judgment just to move on quietly because of all the legal actions, and so I just want everyone to know that that I love my SoulQuest tribe, and I miss our time together, and I've always wished SoulQuest the very best on their path ahead. And when I'm talking about SoulQuest, I'm talking about the amazing community, the members, the volunteers, the staff. This community is amazing, and I was really honored to be a part of that and to help build that. And so I just want to set the record straight. And I left SoulQuest very quickly and quietly under some pretty grave legal circumstances that still to this day feel so surreal. It's like something out of a movie. It blows my mind. And it's kind of been a mystery to me. So if you recall, back then we had been working on the legalization of ayahuasca at SoulQuest to be to legalize ayahuasca in the United States with the DEA, and this process I think it cost the church something like $1 million or $2 million worth of legal fees. Really responding to this process that of exemption, and so I'm in this place right now where I think that that the DEA is a pretty tricky bunch. I don't really know what their intentions were, but so for maybe about a year, they were, what in my opinion would be pretending to work with us to develop this pathway or this gold standard model or a blueprint for a safe and responsible use of this controlled substance called ayahuasca. And so I heard that the DEA had received a lot of applications from folks that wanted to open up ayahuasca churches, and I knew some of these people, and so this was really for us about collaborating with the United States government to help develop a gold standard for the world. So we had a first-class medical team, with a medical director, a physician, and trained in emergency medicine, an expert medical staff with licensed paramedics. And, we had over 50, integration specialists who were, professionally certified by being true to you, the organization that is the gold standard, I believe, in integration work with sacred plant medicines. We had well-trained, and experienced ayahuasca facilitators. And so we were earnestly providing all that we could, to the DEA, to create this, this gold standard for, all the ayahuasca churches as a template. So, so they wanted to be a church in the future. Here was the path, and here were the highest safety standards and protocols. And so, that's what we believe. We were raising the bar with the government, and producing, a level of security for, we make medicine. So we'll make the medicine. That's called manufacturing. So it's really, raising the bar for the level of, the security of the medicine, the manufacturing, the storing and the dispensing of this, controlled substance. And so, it was about establishing professional, best practices for, anyone who was legally going to, offer public ayahuasca ceremonies. And so, we were told that that this was a template, and basically to to dispense this medicine under the strictest of protocols, it needed to have this all laid out. It had never been done before, and so that's what we did. We modified some of our procedures, and we got recommendations by the DEA, and we had security cameras installed, double lockable storages, and every ounce of medicine was being measured and accounted for, and all the waste and everything, all the procedures, really spelled out.
Hey, Dr. Scott.
Yeah. Give us 1 second.
You got really bad for 1 second.
It's staticky. We're going to put on the.
Can you shut your video off for a minute and see if it's better?
Okay.
Just for a second.
Because you were good and then you went bad again.
It's not the video. It's somehow the static.
Static in the mic. But we love you. There's a lot of people loving you, and they're loving everything you're saying. Even in between the static, they love it. It's something with that.
They say turn on the CC, but it's the Restream's not allowing us to turn it on. Fine. The closed captioning. Turn off the video might not be a bad idea. Yeah, maybe. If you turn off your video.
Turn off my video?
Yep, now we can't hear you at all. Oh, that's better.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So, keep going?
Open up the stream on a separate.
Yeah, that's good.
Hold on. Tab and mute it so you can turn CC on your.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, so the story continues. Yeah. So just stop me if we need to pause again. So, what I was saying is that we were.
I have a vibration.
We're good?
I don't think so. It's too staticky.
Back.
Why don't we do this?
I think we should try to have you get it on your phone.
Yeah.
Can you get the Wi-Fi on your phone and maybe log into us there? Somehow it's the mic on your.
It's the mic on your laptop that's really.
Somebody said too high of a vibration.
Do this.
We do.
Quite unfortunate.
I know.
It is, and we want to get it right. We want to hear this.
So, I have a laptop here, and it says I'm in the settings, and so I go to, help me out here. Go into systems.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I mean, when you're talking like that, it is so beautiful. I don't know what's going on.
Crystal clear.
Okay, well then I'll just keep. I'll just keep talking like that. Okay, does that work?
soon as you start talking about the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what we were attempting to do was to cooperate with this process so that ayahuasca could be considered secure and dispensed like a pharmacy would, as a controlled substance, where there's the public safety was foremost in the process. So people, you couldn't steal, you couldn't break in and steal the medicine. There was security and all these procedures. That's all it was about. And so we shared everything with the DEA agents, and I mean, 100%, full disclosure, sincere, enthusiastic cooperation. Clear down to the license plates on cars, and so it was quite a process, and and I believed all the while that we were going through this process, that we were legally protected from any kind of legal recourse or incrimination. The church attorneys had made some arrangements of some kind, or made some kind of deal, set the ground rules for all the disclosures about administering this sacred medicine, and so going into meetings with the DEA and talking about dispensing, or how we do our ceremonies, it could be incriminating, and so we were assured that that we were safe from retaliation or getting in trouble, and, and so not being incriminated was very important, because here's this this whole process of importing, manufacturing, and dispensing what they call an illegal substance. So you still hearing me okay?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's staticky, but we're
It's
just gonna
fine.
go.
It's good.
Let's just go.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're in the jungle.
Yeah. You are.
We're in the jungle. So so, I mean, this is our church sacrament, and so we were really really happy to have a process to bring it into the world safely. And I know I personally wanted to help this process of legalization of ayahuasca. So the medicine communities around the world, around the country, especially around the country that were popping up everywhere, they were all underground and illegal. So without legalization, that means that these medicine communities, they couldn't get licensed, professional medical staff or licensed therapists, to help with with quality integration, and sometimes there are serious issues that occur with people who who drink the medicine after their ceremonies. They can have psychotic breaks, or really go into some some really scary places. And so professional help is something that should always be available as resources for folks that are that are in the ceremonies, doing this, or who are holding these spaces. So legalization for me would mean legally conducting, being able to conduct clinical research, studies with major universities and medical centers, and I thought that was a very good move. So taking it out of the underground and legalizing it so that it can be supported professionally by professionals. That person goes into a ceremony, and you don't know sometimes what can happen. Your blood sugar can crash and go. Who knows? It's like stuff can happen. So anyhow,
safety was the most important factor to you, correct?
Safety, and here here we've been working with thousands and thousands of drinkers, and many of them first time drinkers, and we really set up a very thorough intake process, and a screening, and medical evaluations, and when would arrive, and when they're there were problems. We had staff that was licensed, professionally trained to deal with this stuff. So this is a model. We thought this was a great model, and so that volume of people, that's a lot of lessons learned. It's a lot of stuff, and so in a 200 or 300 page report by the DEA that was online, they had filed it in one of those, I think it's one of those court systems, the proctor or prosser or whatever it's called. The DEA had admitted something to the effect that although there was a conversation or discussions that took place, that they never formalized on paper any special agreement about anything with us in terms of safety and protection, or being able to speak freely without retaliation or incrimination. And so that was quite a shock. It was quite a surprise. So that really kind of is still scary. And so they knew everything. And then what the DA did was reject our application for exemption, and stated that it was based on our lack of religious sincerity. And all this is public information out there. And they obviously had not been to any of our Soul Quest church services in Orlando or online, because I believe our sincerity is quite evident, and our religious sincerity is quite evident. And they were basically saying that we're all about ayahuasca as a medical treatment, and something to the effect that our work was not grounded in the Ayahuasca Manifesto. That's really the base of our church doctrine. Right. And in this report, they had stated that after months of interviews with all the church leaders, and I'm not quoting, I'm just paraphrasing. After interviews with all the church leaders and the staff, that only one person briefly mentioned anything about this manifesto. Hence, there's no religious sincerity, and our religious exemption was denied. And so understand, folks, that we had at the church expensive lawyers, like $600 an hour attorneys, the top people in the country to do this work. I mean, really qualified, great people, and like most attorneys, they advise their clients when they're in a deposition or this kind of situation, to only answer the questions that the DEA asks, or the other counsel asks. And so the DEA asked us many questions about the services at the Soul Quest Natural Healing Center, which was completely separate from the church but supported the church, and questions about the specific types of treatments and services, and the organizational structure and the integration programs, and just lots of questions about those details. And never once did they ever ask any questions about our church doctrine, or about our spiritual beliefs, or anything remotely close to that subject, which if you know me, I can talk about that for hours until I'm blue in the face. So when your attorneys tell you to only answer the questions that the government gives you, one's not so inclined to go off on other topics and get all fairy and kumbaya. So in the end, I really feel like they tricked us, and they selected questions that led to this distorted picture of what we're all about as a church, and then claim we have no religious sincerity, and that's bunk. And so that's kind of the beginning of a backdrop that kind of unfolded for me, and then we had the final determination letter, and that denied our exemption, for the legal use of ayahuasca as our church sacrament. And according to my attorneys, that meant that SoulQuest was an illegal operation. And,
Gotcha.
I don't know a lot about this legal stuff. And so for me, I just heard from my attorneys that, technically the government says this is not legal and no exemption. So it's an illegal operation. And so that I guess the original cease and desist orders still stand. And so, this is my basic recollection and my personal interpretation of, what I've been told or what I read about, in the DA documents and, the reports and the exhibits that were all on there for their, their information and report. And now it's all posted online. So, I even had documents, some of those posted documents online sent to me by my attorney, and, just lots and lots and lots of this crazy legal stuff. And, it's a very confusing time for, I think, all of us. And I never expected that the DEA would reject our, request for exemption. They gave us all kinds of indications that, we're going in the right direction. This is, going to be approved. We would hear, really positive stuff from the attorneys, and then, it was shocking. And so it didn't make sense. And so around that time, shortly after that, this is when it starts getting more surreal. So I started to receive a few disturbing phone calls from some concerned people. And so this is the part that a lot of people don't know about. These were people that whose names you probably know, people that are highly respectable and I would say very credible influencers, leaders in the larger ayahuasca community, people that I would trust. And so I got this. I also got this call from my own attorney, who had just read that, that report from the DA, that 200 or 300-page report from the DA that was, posted on that process or whatever it is. And so my attorney was, calling me saying that he's very concerned that I was going to get into some really serious trouble. And so, that combined with, this call from, one of these people that, in this, I call him my trusted source, I was warned.
Dr. Scott,
right there, can we stop you for 1
little
second?
bit? It was perfect. Now, slow right now.
I think what's happening is a lag. I don't think it's your microphone at all. Actually, somebody pointed it out. I think it's a lag. So when it has to catch up a little. So I think maybe just slowing down a little bit will help that.
Okay. So now, because we all want to know why you left, and here's the reason why we left.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry to
everything is really good. There's a little lag, but everybody understands.
Yes.
Great.
We're going to keep going.
I'll try to pause it a little bit. So here's this call that I get from this trusted source, and I'm warned of a possible sting operation that could be going down at any moment, and then I had better brace myself and get a criminal defense attorney pretty quick, because we're all going to jail. And I'm just like, that's what I was told. And, I'm like, just shocked. It's like, because of my involvement with the church, and because there was in this report from the DEA involvement in arranging shipping of the vine and the leaf to the church, that I could be held criminally liable and could face prison sentences up to 30 years or more. And
wow.
There were, in this report, there was reported the amounts of DMT that were found in shipments that just happened to be confiscated earlier by a raid of federal agents, U.S. Customs and Border Control, and state sheriffs, and local law enforcement. That that they had seized packages, and that all this information's online, and that there was enough DMT in this material to put me in jail for 30 years or more. And so, as if that wasn't enough, this person was calling me to warn me about the threat of this sting operation. And he said, it's some branch of the government, doesn't know who, could be the IRS, it could be, some law enforcement agency, federal, state, no clue. But they were warning me that something bad might be going down, and that I might be caught in the middle of this this church drug bust or something to that effect. And so, that's pretty frightening. And so my attorneys told me, to just stop all my work there immediately and remove myself from the church. And I was told that there was the possibility that there was this this criminal investigation happening that was specifically targeting Chris Young, and who was one of the church Southwest founders. And so they advised me to just be very careful. Something could really be happening that's going to hurt my life, and they thought that I was one of the good guys, and that the window for me to safely remove myself and not get caught up into this whole can of worms was extremely short. So hurry up and act fast, or I'm going to get in trouble. So supposedly, what was explained to me, and this is all not fact. This is all people of concern, of great reputation, explained to me that they're hearing things, and in their legal circles and this sort of stuff, they're telling me this. I don't know where their sources are. I don't know. But I know
they were concerned about you and your friend, being the friend.
Concerned, well-placed, respectable, highly respectable people. Right. So I had no reason not to take their advice seriously. And so, supposedly they wanted to get Chris Young because he's the guy that picked the fight with the federal government. So, I don't know how this government works, but it wouldn't be, I think, beyond them, considering the history with Timothy Leary and all the other kind of stuff that's happened in, the world. So, I was told that the government knows everything about the church finances and about bank records, and Chris is being, investigated for, possible fraud and, some kind of criminal activity, which I don't know anything about. And so, I didn't know.
So you picked up and you went, and so you picked up and you went down to the jungle.
Well, yeah. All I could do is think, that this story is getting crazier and crazier. And they told me that Verena and Chris, they're still married, and so somehow legally, she couldn't testify against her own husband. So nobody knew more about the inner workings of the church than me. So they've been told me not to rule out the possibility of undercover agents planting illegal drugs on me, like cocaine, and then arresting me to testify against the church. And then ultimately I would be, one of the people forced to bring down or help to bring down one of the largest Ayahuasca churches in the world. And so this isn't what I signed up for. All this stuff was just something out of a movie. It was nuts. It was absolutely friggin' nuts. And I was pretty scared. But it seemed plausible. It seemed plausible that this would definitely dissuade anyone from wanting to open an Ayahuasca church in the United States. So maybe it was happening. I'm from Nebraska. I've never been in trouble with the law, a day in my life. So this was way beyond anything that that I could understand. And so I immediately got a federal criminal defense attorney, and I was advised to formally resign, which I did. And and again, my training reminded me that, this is considered, restricted. The church would be restricted, and, as using the sacrament, and to not mess with the government. If I want to play it safe. And I don't know what the legal status really was. Was it legal? Was it not? If they're filing an appeal, that kind of thing, I don't know. So, in other words, it was illegal. So here's the transition. This is the part where the story goes into how I got to Ecuador, because it was about that same time that I received this invitation from a colleague of mine, inviting me to lead some ayahuasca integration sessions for a group of Russians that were in this indigenous community in Ecuador called Sacha, Wasi, where I am now. And so, at that time, it sounded like a pretty good option, to just get some space and figure out what the hell just happened. It was like a lot of craziness. And so, in a short period of time, my entire world flipped upside down. So anyway, so my criminal defense attorney said I couldn't leave the country. He said that, if there are criminal investigations going on, and then I definitely couldn't leave the country, because that would be something like, fleeing, or something illegal that would make me a fugitive. And I'm like, I'm a good boy. I don't do illegal stuff. I mean, just like whatever. So they told me that, if I went to the airport on my way to Ecuador, I might be arrested at the airport. I'd be put in handcuffs. And then he pointed out his office window, and he said, that right down there, that's the jail. And this was in his office in downtown Miami. And he said, if they arrest you at the airport, that's where you're going, and I'll get you out. And I'm just like, I'm freaking out. I'm shitting my pants, because I've never been arrested. I've never had anything with the police. I don't have this. I don't know anything about this stuff. And so I'm just like, this is not happening. So what we did, my attorneys immediately, they just spent hours on the phone, calling the DEA and the agents that were in charge of the case, and they were asking them if in fact there were any criminal investigations that I was a target of, and if I was a target of investigation. And so the DEA said no, I wasn't, and that I wasn't a target of their investigations, which it's like not like we could ever get this straight. So it's like, but that meant that maybe somebody else was doing a criminal investigation at the time, and nobody knows. And so my attorney explained to the DEA that I wanted to travel to Ecuador, and offered my full cooperation, information where I was, all of the board, just all out there, and saying, hey, I'm not fleeing. I'm going to go to Ecuador and do some integration groups. Are we cool with that? I don't want to get arrested. And so this was beyond anything. This was beyond my nervous system. It was a lot. It was just a lot. And I loved serving Soul Quest, and I loved my Soul Quest family. And all these stories that I was hearing. Some of them were negative. This was a really scary, frightening, sad time for me, and I was really emotionally hurt. Soul Quest was my life, and I helped build this this great church, and I love being the senior minister at Soul Quest, and helping so many people. I mean, it was awful. It was awful, and so ultimately, the story is that I left because of the DEA said game over. It's illegal. And and I was hearing all this other stuff. I remember we'd be at Soul Quest, and we would hear a helicopter circling overhead, and we would all be like, oh shit, This is it, it's happening. This is your bait, they're finally coming after
But
us.
you know what? But Dr. Scott, we all know, and I guess this is why we all started this community and we all come to this medicine is we all know this medicine is a healing medicine. This medicine changes lives, and
It sure does.
you change lives, and what you're doing now is changing lives. You're down in South America now, working with a tribe, doing what you did here and bringing down there.
But your story just goes to show that you are human first and you're a man first before your Dr. Scott.
Before your
and
Dr.
you have a
Scott.
story, and we're glad that we
And
get to hear it.
I think staticky or not, I think a lot of people got the whole value and the point of where you've been and why you went there. And like Michelle said, we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Well, it's not even a mistake. I mean, we're just walking this path. You used to say the wrong path.
Walking each other home. Yeah. It was a very confusing time.
So what are you doing now down there? Let people know what you're doing a little bit down there.
Yeah. So I came to Ecuador at the invitation of my colleague, and I never left.
You know what's funny, Dr. Scott? This is really funny. This is really, really funny. We can hear you perfectly fine now. But that whole time we were talking about the church, there was a little static. I think there might be something going on in the back end here, sir. But go ahead.
My integration coach would probably tell
you. That's so funny. Sometimes the truth is hard to hear. So, I came to Ecuador, and I'm now living. It's over a year now with an indigenous community. It's a Quechua tribe, and they are a medicine-centric community. Here in this country in Ecuador, ayahuasca, San Pedro, got hongos, which are psilocybin, the magic mushrooms. This is a national treasure, as are the indigenous people of the jungle. They're national treasures. And so, this was an entirely different place, and so I'm here empowering these indigenous, Quechua people that are here in the jungle, whose culture is really on the verge of extinction. And so I'm really trying to help empower these people to survive and to make it with, the modern tools that are necessary. I don't think many people understand that we're living in an age of irregular warfare, if you will. And, we're talking about a war against nature and its indigenous protectors. It's absolutely friggin' unbelievable that over 200,000 acres of this beautiful rainforest are being burned every single day. 200,000 acres. That's over 150 acres that are lost every single day. 150 every single minute. 150 acres lost every single minute. So I mean, this is it's well known that this is one of the the biggest problems that in the Amazon is the deforestation of the rainforest, and so the plight of the indigenous people is surrounded by this war, and so trees are being cut for logging, development, and human expansion, and you've got a lot of forces that are going on, but it's the most extreme and drastic deforestation of the rainforest. And so burning away the Amazon, that just condemns millions of living species to extinction, and it's destroying their habitats. We're talking about a lot of plants and animals and other forms of life that haven't even been discovered and identified by science yet. So this is virgin jungle that's just up every minute. So indigenous cultures like here at Sacha, Wasi, who live in these jungles, they're also condemned to extinction due to the cultural erosion that's been occurring over generations. And
hey, Dr. Scott, can
You
you
got a cutie pie back there.
introduce us to him? Introduce us to
Who's
him.
out there?
Get him on TV.
You wanna say, hey, buddy?
Yeah.
He says, no way, man.
so these are some of the kids here.
Yeah.
This is Diana.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
From the camera here.
Hello.
And this is Yaku.
Hello. How are you?
Diana is, ¿cuántos años tienes? 13?
13.
13. She said in English 13. And Yaku.
Yes.
¿Cuántos años? Venga. ¿Cuántos años tiene?
6.
You 6 años. 6 años. So Diana is
I love that.
one of the students in the school that I built here, and she is been learning English. And ¿conoces otras palabras en inglés?
You know, this kind of leads us into something, Dr. Scott. This kind of leads us into maybe something we've been talking about, maybe starting to create, bringing back that church, that psychedelic, maybe Sunday church, and going to different locations like this and telling people what it's all about.
That's so awesome. You know, there's a lot that's that es posible regresa en 20 minutos.
Sí.
Por favor, sí. Okay. Les
Bye-bye.
amos. Bye-bye. Yeah. So yeah, I love sharing what's going on in this world. You know, we've got
Está aquí el doctor.
Mhm.
doctor no está aquí hoy. La médico, el otro médico es en el casita. Okay. So this is what happens here all the time. The kids come. I am kind of known as the candy man. I've got, the supply of chupetes. Chupetes are the lollipops. And so when kids do their lessons in the school, they get the chupetes as reward. And so there's always an exchange. It's like they speak, they have to say a word like the color of the wrapper or the flavor or the something, because we're practicing learning English. And so, yeah.
Well,
so
you are
Definitely are.
You are bringing light to this war that's going on. You know, I get emotional about the trees and the rainforest, and
it's terrible.
You're in the middle of it.
In the middle of it. And what I've discovered is that these people are pure. They're innocent. They just got cell phones, some of them, maybe 9 months ago. They, I went to 2 high school graduations, and, the kids had never used a computer and never on the internet. They had no idea that the pyramids of Egypt were not in the United States. There are a lot of things that the education system here homogenizes and damages the culture here. And they're told their culture is backwards, and you can't exist in this world where there's this deforestation and these the global interests and the modern forces that are just changing things. These people are not equipped to fight the fight, and these are our frontline protectors of this beautiful jungle. And so if we lose them, we lose the rainforest.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's my big rocket up my ass, is that we need these people to thrive.
Yeah.
We need these people to have the tools that it takes to fight. So we had the indigenous people here in Ecuador went on a nationwide strike recently. And, these people are discriminated against. They are murdered. They are shot. One of the family members got killed by a tear gas canister that went into his eye. I mean, these people are considered, the indigenous people are considered on the lowest rungs of the socioeconomic ladder. So they have very little strength. And so without the tools to, match these enemies or these adversaries, they will not be here in the next generation. And the pandemic was just horrific for cultural tourism. Right. So these people starved. Some of these men in the tribes, went into town to get jobs, to make $5 a day, working 17 hours like slaves.
Crazy.
And they'll tear up and cry when they talk about it. And it's like, never again. So we've been working on initiatives here is that no matter what's going on in the world, they are sustainable. Then we've got, sustainable food production that we're working on, the fish ponds. We've got 200 chickens. You guys may have seen in some of my posts, 200 chickens. They are just weeks away from producing about 180 eggs a day. And so, these things are important, but we built, I built a school for the preservation of culturally rooted indigenous education. And we teach English classes, Quechua, the artisans classes, the artists' art of their ancestors. We're talking about this tribe is, has a lineage of 50 generations of Yachuks. So Yachuks are Quechua. That's the equivalent of a shaman. You call them a shaman. It's kind of like insult to them because shaman, they when they're called shaman, it's kind of like you're a used car salesman because everybody's a shaman.
Yeah.
So let me ask you some stuff. Let me ask you something, Dr. Scott. There's a lot of questions up here.
We do have a lot of questions.
People have some questions for you, and one of them was at the very beginning: how does a church like SoulQuest stay open with the legal ramifications going on now?
I'm not sure. I think that, and I don't know, and I hope they're okay. I think when they do an appeal to a higher court after it's been rejected, I haven't been keeping up with. I think they didn't get their approval on the in the injunction, so they got rejected, and so they go to a higher court, and because it's in a higher court, then they can stay open. I don't know.
But then people should feel safe there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's a question for the leadership at SoulQuest to respond to. They've got a great legal team, and they know what they're doing, and they wouldn't be their doors wouldn't be open if it wasn't legal and safe and all that. So, I have nothing bad to say about them. I want them to be happy and to prosper and to thrive because there are so many people that come to this medicine. I mean, it's changed your lives. It's changed my lives. And access.
SoulQuest is the mothership.
Yeah, it's the mothership.
All these beautiful starlings that
and
came.
then there was another question. Do you have any regrets?
Do you have any regrets?
Regrets. That's a really interesting question. I don't know if I have any regrets. I am grateful. I'm grateful for Chris Young and Verena Young for, inviting me into a leadership position of this church. I brought my credentials, I brought my experience and my professionalism, and I brought my heart and soul. And so, these I think are the qualities of all of us seekers in this medicine circle and medicine community is showing up authentically and protecting the medicine and making sure that it's done in a responsible way. And I've always done that. And, that's where I'm coming from. Here we built this, a medical clinic. With the help of some very loyal benefactors of SoulQuest, of Sacha Wasi, people that have made some donations and have also helped. I've spent, every penny I have in helping feed the tribe and, with the infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. And volunteers, we get volunteers we have doctors that volunteer here. We've got medics, we've got teachers that have come from all over the world, from Australia, France, Germany, Poland, the UK, Denmark, wonderful people that have the same intentions of helping preserve this endangered culture, So anyway, it's my new best that I can do right now. So what's some more questions?
Well, let's see. Just a bunch of people, and you can get on. We'll get on, and you can get on afterwards and say hello. A lot of people just sending their love for sure. I just want to say that Mark and I at the Plant Medicine Path, I mean, we are just trying to provide this platform for people to have a voice, an ethical platform. So we love, we don't have an opinion about any of it. We invite anyone to come on and share their truth. We're grateful that you did. We are grateful for the impact that you've had on our lives and what we have created from impact of many at SoulQuest, many people. So we're grateful that you're here. We are looking forward to doing things together. We're going to start some integration calls.
Yeah. It's so Ken Stanley is doing his yeah, I did the handoff of my integration Wednesday 2 p.m. integration group with Ken Stanley, who is my brother from another mother I love.
Love you,
And
Ken.
a great guy, and I'm glad he's my friend. So I'm not going to compete with that. So I'm offering the integration group on Tuesdays at 2. So that's 2 Eastern time.
And we're going to set those. We're going to set those up. We'll start.
Yeah.
All the information for that.
So integration, jungle integration, and
maybe let's talk about psychedelic Sunday churches starting up.
Oh yeah. So this is really cool. So I heard I don't ever want to go against SoulQuest and compete, make problems. I heard that they're not doing the Sunday service anymore. That's correct?
I don't.
We have heard that as well. Mm-hmm. I'm not
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So that when we were talking about this vision, the team at the that we put together for the Sunday service are amazing people, high integrity, and just perfect compliments. And so we're coming together, and we've got our A team back together, and so we're going to continue and actually evolve the platform that we started, because I guess because there's I think a real need in the community to have some unity in the community, but this is
in the community. I love that.
Yeah. This is a spiritual path. This is a path, less traveled. And many of us are traveling this path for the very first time. Others have been on it longer, and it can be very trying. You take the medicine, and sometimes you have this wonderful, I was talking about, skittle farting unicorns and pink clouds and, that kind of stuff. And then that, purple haze, it kind of goes away. And sometimes life turns upside down, and it gets confusing. And, when you start to peel back the misconceptions of reality and the misperceptions, and you start to learn that everything is a lie, everything that we've been taught, religion, government, just everything is a lie. And so then we're left with, well, what is true? And so, I've been doing here just so much work myself with the medicine. When I first got here, I drank ayahuasca like 11 times, like boom, 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 boom. I had a lot to heal from. And then, and lots of work with magic mushrooms. And I have just the highest respect for psilocybin. And we do ceremonies here with the psilocybin, the ayahuasca, the San Pedro, the Wachuma. And it's done in the traditional ways. It's held with reverence and sacredness. And, there's one thing that's really different here that I've noticed, that I kind of put a lot of the ayahuasca communities into this label as like the ayahuasca cult mentality, that, there's only one way to do it. And there's you had salt, you violated your dieta. And, it's like rules. It's like so draconian. And it's like, it's not, these people have been serving the medicine for 50 generations, and they do not have that approach. That approach is, hey, baby, show up. There's things that are really best, to stay away from, and, then show up, and you're okay. And you can get up and walk to the bathroom without somebody holding your hand or whatever. If you need help, they're there. but it's just a little more relaxed, and more responsibility is put on you as the person in the journey to, to manage. And we've never had issues. It's like we have no issues here. It's amazing. So, but I think that there's a lot that we can learn from each other, and if we come together like we were, with Ron McNutt from the psychedelic, spotlights, learning. When people come to this medicine, sometimes from the very first time, they don't know about the history. I tell the story about, my first psychedelic experiences. It came from Timothy Leary when I was working on his autobiography, and it's like, who's Timothy Leary? And it's like, oh my God, like, okay. So, and this is the stuff, like here in my community at the tribe, helping people come up to speed, get up to speed on technology, get up to speed on some of these things like business, how to run a business. That's something they're learning. So these are important things, teach them men to fish, and, they'll feed themselves. And that's what we're doing. So this coming together is to help us, like we said earlier, walk each other home. I think that's so important because, we're all one. We're maybe perceived to be separated in these physical forms, but in eternity, that means that pretty soon I'm going to catch up, and I'm in you, Michelle, you and me. It's like, oh my God, there is no separation. And these are concepts that are difficult when our programming and our propaganda has been inherited. And, there are such great forces in this world that want to keep us dumb and numb and disconnected and distracted by technologies and substances and sugar. And the last thing they want us to do is go into a mushroom ceremony and find out that, that there is another story of creation.
There is.
That this is often reflected in the Bible. You hear some of these stories in the Old Testaments that correspond with some of the stories that come out of the Sumerian clay tablets, the 32,000 tablets they found with ancient history. And, the world has a way of, controlling information and eliminating the stuff that we don't want you to know.
Yes.
So,
Ken Staley always said to me, let's go back to Ken Staley, and we pretty much going to end this conversation really soon. Ken Staley always used to say, you are the creator.
You are the creator.
You are God.
You are the creator.
Absolutely. That's such a hard concept to conceive of in our minds, because our minds are pretty much disconnected with the ego. And, it's part of the way of our creation. I think that we were genetically modified or altered and disconnected. And so, our 90%, whatever it is, junk DNA is just disconnected DNA. It was all supposed to be there. And so, we drink the medicine, we start to plug in, we start to tune in, we start to grow and become, part of the flow. And that's important,
It is important. And we are really excited to come back to the Sunday service, and there's more information to come.
Yeah, we'll be getting it out there.
It's coming through the plant medicine path. We're really excited about this to bring. It's just about community. It's about community.
About community.
And I think what you're going to find very interesting about this whole podcast is the very beginning, it was all staticky. Very beginning was, and now the last 40 minutes has been beautiful. Find that quite interesting.
We're gonna continue this conversation. We are going to continue to see you a lot. We are grateful to have you back. We're grateful to hear your story. We welcome Soul Quest. We welcome everybody. This is a place for. And are trying to provide that platform. So
I'm open to. I want to support all of the different communities, plant medicine communities, all different types of medicines as well. And that's part of what we're going to be doing in our Sunday services is highlighting the different tribes, the different the plights of some of these communities.
Absolutely.
And our medicine comes from the jungle.
Yep.
We have a vested interest in these are the lungs of the planet. This is we are interconnected. And so that's, it's not all about, plight. There's so much that we can learn from these amazing people and each other. We are so amazing, and we are together. We are so much stronger, and divided, not. So, I know these are crazy times politically, and I think we're going into even more crazy times. And so with with spiritual support, we can navigate these confusing times with our inner wisdom, not from the media and not from people outside of us informing us. It's up to us. I didn't have anybody telling me what time it is. I took 20 grams of mushrooms and suddenly I found out what time it is. And and other medicines like Guanto, it's like 100 times stronger than ayahuasca. It's like these are what we do. We wake up. Wakey.
Wake up.
I love the uncorking sound when our heads are being extracted out of our asses and suddenly we see light everywhere. And that's the idea. It's like wakey. And for some, it's a rough process, but it is worth it. Coming to your individual, sovereign mind can be quite a journey, and it can be filled with, challenges. And so together we walk each other home.
We're doing it. We're going to see you so soon. We're going to see each other a lot.
Love you, brother. We'll talk soon, man.
Yep. And look for the posts on the integration on Tuesday.
You got it.
More to come. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you for having me.